apparently we've all heard rumors about how cheap it is living in Spain. Like, you got free sunshine, you got low cost of living, but is it really that cheap? So after living in Madrid for 4.5 years, I'm gonna tell you that that rumor isn't necessarily true if you want to live in a big city like Madrid or Barcelona. So if you plan to move to a big city in Spain and start your life here, hopefully this video will give you a better idea of how much it really costs living in Spain. So let's get started. Starting from the rent, which is definitely your biggest cost each month. So I'm just gonna give you guys a range of how much it could cost if you want to rent a room or a studio or like a one-bedroom apartment. Let's take Madrid as an example. So if you want a room in a shared flat, the rent can go as low as 250, which is not that common, but I've heard people pay that much, and it could go up to 700 to 800 euros per month for just one room. So what causes the difference of the rent? I think the three most important factors are, first of all, the location of the apartment, if it's a bit far from the city center, or if it's in a neighborhood that's not, let's just say, necessarily safe in some sense, the rent tend to be lower there. Secondly, if you get any natural light at all in your room, there are basically two kinds of apartments in Spain. One is interior, the other one is exterior. So if it's interior, it faces the patio, which means that if you live on the lower floor, you probably don't get any natural light at all. But if your room is an exterior, which means that it faces the street, at least you get some natural light coming into your room every day. And the third factor is, if you want a slightly newer apartment, so the old apartments in Spain can be like really old, like the whole decoration and the vibe of the apartment is like old. You just feel that ancientness in the apartment. So if aesthetics plays any role in your living standard, you gotta pay more for that. So let's just say if you want to live in a relatively central area, you want some natural light in your room, and you don't want your room to be like ugly as hell, I think a reasonable rent range for a room would be between 400 to 450 per month to like 600 per month, like for a room in a shared flat. So if you want a bit more privacy, you want a studio between, let's say, 20 square meters to 40 square meters, the price can go as low as 600 to 650 and as high as 1300. That's normal. If you want a studio in a good area, you want some sunlight, you want your apartment to look kind of chic, that's the price that you're gonna have to pay in a city like Madrid. And for a one-bedroom apartment, it could go as low as like 1,000 and as high as your imagination goes. So that's all about rent. And moving on, let's talk about dining out. So on average, I spend like 150 to 250 each month on dining out. So in my dining out section, I've included lunch, dinner, coffee. Generally speaking, a cup of coffee could cost like 140 to 3 euros, more or less. If you want to dine out with a friend in a restaurant, it could go between 15 euros to 35 euros a meal per person. And now let's move on to groceries. I would say it costs between like 100 to 150 on average per month. Most of the times it's around 150 per month. And now let's take a look at transportation. It's not like a big cost for me because Madrid has lowered the price for transportation. It's basically 50% off. So if you want to buy like 10 trips, it's like 6 euros now. For me, I pay like 15 to 20 euros per month for transportation because I walk to work. Almost forgot this like very important utilities: electricity, internet, gas. So for me, I don't pay gas. I don't have gas here, so I use electricity for everything from cooking to heating. It's all electricity. So I pay like 80 to 90 euros per month, like in winter when I turn on the heater. But if I don't need the heating, it could be like 50, 60 euros. Internet, I pay 27 euros for internet. From what I know, the cheapest is probably Digi. If their own cable happen to pass by where you live, you pay like 15 euros per month. But if you live in an area that's not covered by their own cable, you pay like 25 to 30. My internet is with a company called O2. I pay 27. And then gym, so if you go to the gym membership here could cost between 25 euros to 90 euros per month. Depends on the area, depends on what the gym offers. And of course, I do a bit of shopping every month, so it could be between, you know, like 50 to 200. It really depends on the month. Sometimes I feel like buying new clothes or my skincare products run out. So that really varies from person to person and from month to month. And for things like haircut, for girls, it could vary between like 15 euros to 50 euros. So about healthcare, if you have job here already, you pay for social security and everything, you can of course enjoy the public health system, even though it can take forever to get a visa. But I mean, in a sense, it's free. But then if you want to buy private health insurance, it could cost between, let's say, 30 to 100 euros per month. It really depends on the company and your personal case. So, but just to give you guys an idea. So my personal opinion is that if you want to eat normal, have some social life, live in a place where there's some natural light, if you are careful with the money, if you plan it well, you need at least like 1,000 to 1,300 euros to get by in a big city like Madrid. If you want to live comfortable in Madrid, I would say you need at least like 2,000 euros per month. Not squandering, but like comfortable. Of course, if you live and work in the US, for example, you would say, oh my god, this is so cheap if you can just get by with 1,000 to 1,300. But then if you work in Spain, even in big cities like Madrid, you got 1,300 to 1,600 after tax. This is like super common. Of course, there are people who make more money and even less money than this, but I would say like this is a reasonable expectation of salary if you plan to actually move here and work here. So that's a wrap about the monthly expense of living in big cities like Madrid. But of course, this is based on my personal experience. Honestly speaking, I cook a lot at home. I almost only dine out when I meet a friend. And sometimes if I meet with very close friend and we only just want to, you know, catch up, we don't necessarily have to go out. So we would just cook at home. It's cheaper. And when I go to work, I bring my own lunch. I almost never order anything when I work, unless I run out of food or I'm like really tired or it's like super late the night before when I get back home. I normally cook by myself and bring my own food, and that saves me a lot of money. So yeah, that's a wrap. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and if you want more information about Spain, also subscribe to my channel. Give me a like. This is like great encouragement for me to keep making videos. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.